After my last video giving my theories on what will happen next in Yashahime, I thought it would be fun to read over other fan theories and speculation on the show. So I have up the TV Tropes page for guessing about what will happen on Yashahime. So here it is, let's start reading. So the first one is Nino Kube is probably going to be, or at least will become, the main big bad of the Yashahime. That didn't turn out to be true. That entity was defeated very early on in the series. The next theory is Inuyasha and Kagome may have created the Rainbow Pearls. No, they didn't do that. Zero created them. Okay. It says here Inuyasha and Kagome were both trapped by the Black Pearl. Yes, see, this sentence says exactly what I just said, that Zero created the Black Pearls. Okay, so this next one is Kikyo sealed Root Head instead of killing it because Kikyo may have blown it apart several times with her Sacred Arrow, only for it to regenerate each time. So she sealed the demon so that it would stay in one place and not come back yet for another round. I mean, that seems like it makes sense to me. It might have been too complicated to kill, so she just sealed it away. This next theory is Toa and Setsuna's mother is Rin, which is true, and shouldn't really have been a surprise to anyone. Of course, she's pretty much the only human Sesshomaru can stand being around. 20 years are known to have passed since then. And Rin and Setsuna have the exact same hair color. So according to this sentence, the ending of episode 4 makes this ambiguous. Rin is inside the Tree of Ages in deep sleep while Shomaru watches from the shadows. Well, anyway, Rin is the mother. Okay, so this theory is Toa will carry a smartphone. Well, she does. So let's see what this says. This will ultimately lead to a humorous scene where she shows off her phone to Kagome, who will be amazed by just how much things have changed since she left, and realize that she would now be just as much as a fish out of temporal water there as it was in the feudal era. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, technology's changed a lot in the past 20 years, but still recognizable. So anyway, it says it's confirmed. Toa does carry a smartphone and is shown as a minor plot point in episode 14. However, the whole plot of it basically gets discarded after the end of the episode. Although Kagome is trapped in the Black Rainbow Pearl as of episode 15, well, Kagome could still get freed later in the series, so the Kagome part of this theory isn't necessarily untrue as of yet. Shisomaru's human wife died as a result of childbirth. That's untrue. Ren's still alive. Okay, this one theory is Shomaru Sesshomaru has his daughter's weapons commissioned after birth. Sesshomaru is likely to have Totosai commissioned 2 weapons for his daughter, specifically for their use, since he did witness Inuyasha become a full demon, and the Tenseiga is the only thing keeping him alive and sane. The same could be said with his daughter's weapons, and hopes the same thing won't happen to them. So at the moment, neither of the twins have commissioned weapons, but it's highly implied that at the end of the series, that Sesshomaru had Totosai commission a weapon like Tenseiga for Toa, or Tenseiga itself will be reforged for Toa, one of the two. So that seems to me to be true and indicated, even though it hasn't come up right just yet in the series itself. Miss Higurashi will quickly realize that Maroha is a granddaughter. Yes, that happened. And it says it's confirmed. Miss Higurashi notices she looks similar to Kagome and puts 2 and 2 together. This one says Sesshomaru, Inuyasha, and Kagome are the pearls. No, the pearls are completely separate entities made out of the sacred jewel. Again, this says it's completely untrue. However, technically, Inuyasha and Kagome are in one of the pearls, though the pearl might have just been a portal that transported them to the grave site. I guess it's not entirely clear whether the... Well, yeah, I guess you could argue that going back to the grave site is being trapped in the pearl, in a sense. So anyway, the Black Rainbow Pearl, however, Sesshomaru trapped them both in there. The truth, though, is that the 7 Rainbow Pearls were made from the wish by the Demon Zero. So this theory is that there's some memory wiping at work. In Maroha's case, that's completely untrue. She never knew her parents because she wasn't raised by them. Though in the case of Toa, Setsuna, it's pretty obvious that her memory's been uh, impacted by something that happened a while ago. Okay, so firstly it says, so what if Toa's recount of what happened that day is false because someone or something tampered with her memories to remove key events, such as what really caused her to be separated from Setsuna? And more so, what if that's tied to why Setsuna lost all her memories and why Maroha doesn't know her parents? Perhaps whoever went around tampering with memories also targeted the memories of the original gang. It would explain why Kohaku and Hisue don't recognize Maroha. Well, they don't recognize Maroha because she wasn't raised anywhere near them. She was raised by a master in the Wolf Demon tribe, so they never met her in the first place. So again, there wasn't any memory wiping involving those 2 people, it's just that they never met her. Tying into the above theory, this could also explain how Setsuna and Toa got the pearls in her eyes. Their parents were with them in that forest fire. Okay, their parents were not turned into pearls. At the same time, when they were very little, Sesshomaru could have put the pearls in her eyes then. And I think when whatever happened with the dream butterfly that interfered with Setsuna's memory, the pearls might have been put in her eye at that point as well, also. So it says here this is untrue, that everyone who knew them still remembers the missing characters. The only Shishomaru's disappearance is given as a potential explanation, and this doesn't completely rule out the idea that memories regarding the missing characters were somehow altered. This one says Root has is a red herring big bad, and that's mostly true. I mean, the main antagonist of the series is Zero, mostly. So this theory says Miroha is wearing her dad's Zero Fire Rat robe, and her backstory is history repeats of Inuyasha's. So this paragraph says, looking closer at Miroha's outfit shows that as a rather cut and sewn appearance, not to mention how heavily it resembles her dad's file rat robe. That's because it is the fire rat robe. Inuyasha also gave the robe to baby Miroha and Kagome to protect them before he and Kagome disappeared. Miroha may have commented at one point, all along she doesn't know she's been wearing her dad's robe that he gave to her so she would thrive. And it says it's untrue. Miroha was sent away by her parents, and Inuyasha was wearing his fire rat robe when he was trapped in a black pearl with it. Miroha may have an older sibling. I guess I can't rule it out entirely, but I'm not sure. And again, it says here that what happened to the older sibling is a big question if this is true. Kirimaru has time traveling powers and has already been in the modern era. I'm not. Let's see what they have to say about this. Kirimaru is Toa's English teacher, Osamu Kirin. Seems pretty suspicious to introduce two characters with Kirin in their name in the same episode. In addition, the later also has an official character page on the official website, which is weird for someone who is a minor character. Also, the Sacred Tree states that his plans would affect time. So it says here that towards the end of episode 22, it's slightly hinted to be so, with Kirin gazing at the Grim Comet in the modern era, and also appears next to Sota and Mai. So I guess that entity might be a puppet controlled by Kirin, or I guess it could be Kirin himself who time traveled to the future, or just lived that long and simply waited and is now in contact with his past self. I tend to believe it's more of a puppet from the future that's tied to him rather than Kirimaru himself, but I guess I can't entirely rule out the other interpretation just yet either. Miroha believes her parents abandoned her. Episode 4 reveals that Miroha is at least aware of her mother's name, but that she still doesn't know her. Related is an above guess. Miroha's earliest memory is waking up. Okay, so it says here that Miroha believes her parents are dead. So that's interesting. Okay, this next one is Kirimaru is indirectly responsible for the disappearance of the original cast. So it says if Kirimaru does have time travel powers, then perhaps Inuyasha headed off after him thinking they would only be gone for a little while, only to end up trapped in a completely different era. This would explain why they aren't around. After all, the only reason Kagome and Sango would is if they were incapable of returning to them. That's mostly untrue. Most of the cast were not removed or disappeared by Kurimaru in the beginning. And while he is responsible for the disappearance of Kagome and Inuyasha, he didn't transport them in time, he transported them in the Black Pearl. So it says here that it's slightly wrong. The only thing he got involved in was in the battle teaming up with Shishomaru against Inuyasha. In episode 15, Shishomaru trapped both Inuyasha and Kagome in the Black Pearl. Everyone else is still alive. So I think that's enough for one video. I might make another video again later doing the rest of the page, but I think this is enough for one video. So that's everything.